This is ESBL Boxing. Delighted as always to be joined by Thomas. We are a few days away now from Devin Haney versus Vasily Lomachenko for the undisputed lightweight championship of the world. Thomas, doing something a bit different today. Normally we're doing fight previews, weigh-in reactions, fight reviews. Want to just talk about Devin Haney in this video. He is 29-0 at the age of 24. And yeah, want to discuss whether he can defeat the famous Floyd Mayweather 50-0 record, the best record in boxing. Is he going to stay undefeated? Is he going to get to 50 fights? I'll be asking you those sort of questions. First of all, Thomas, big massive fight on Saturday. How do you see it going?
No, I'm very much looking forward to the fight. I think it should be competitive. I'm expecting that at the very least, but I am expecting Devin Haney's youth to prevail, and the fact that he's just a naturally bigger guy. I think at some point, he's probably going to be a welterweight, at least, maybe even a junior middleweight. He's only 24 years old, so still pretty young and a lot of time for him to grow. So, that being said, I expect him to get the job done. Should be a tough fight for him, but should pull it out. I think a close decision, most likely.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. I think it's going to be a fantastic fight, and we're all looking forward to it. First, so we're gonna get right into it. If he wins on Saturday, Devin Haney will obviously be 30-0 at the age of 24. It's a big question. I think we're some way away from him getting to 50-0, but it could happen. He's definitely got the time to do it. In a nutshell, Thomas, do you see that happening? Do you see Devin Haney having another 20 fights and staying undefeated?
Well, it really depends on who he's fighting, of course. If he fights guys like Lomachenko often, or other guys like um, Gervonta Davis, or these guys like Josh Taylor and Teofimo Lopez are at 140. But if he fights those guys as well, that's a lot. It's like a murderer's row. So tough order to get through all of those guys
Mm.
successfully. Um, but he's definitely got the talent. He has the speed. Um, he has the knockout power too. I don't think he gets a lot of credit for that, but he's put some guys out for sure. Um, so I think he can definitely go a long way at 50-0. That's it's another 20 fights, and the way that fighters operate now, especially guys on his levels, they're not very active, and so you would have to uh, you know fight at least a few times a year. I think to get to that point before he retires. So we'll see if he can do that.
Yeah. And I think one thing about Haney is he turned pro very early, had some fights in Mexico when he was still kind of 16, 17 years old. So I think to be 29 at the age of 24 whilst being the undisputed champion is quite something. And we'll see. I don't think we've had someone who has kind of really come close to beating Mayweather's records. I think Gilberto Ramirez was somebody, and I think it was at 41, 42-0 before losing to Dimitri Bivol last year. What are obviously the two big fighters to compare Haney against? I feel like Gervonta Davis and Shakur Stevenson, all undefeated guys, all guys in their kind of their mid to late 20s. Hopefully we see these guys face each other. We might not, but yeah, who out of those three, who do you fancy to stay undefeated? I know it's a tough question. I know it's a division where we want to see all these fights. We saw Gervonta Davis versus Ryan Garcia. Hopefully that has a kind of a domino effect and we continue to see those fights. But who's the one standout guy to you there, Thomas?
You know, I just feel like it's definitely it's a tie between Shakur and Devin for sure. I just feel like Gervonta, he's he's up there. He's pound for pound talent, but he kind of I just feel like he falls in love with his power a little bit too much. And he's had some fights where he's given rounds away.
Yeah.
And I feel like Devin Haney is a much more, you know, classical and consistent boxer. And I just think, along with the physical talent, like the speed and power, um, he just has that boxing IQ. But so does Shakur. But the problem with Shakur, I think, is he's really a smaller guy.
Mm.
He's moving up, but he started at 126.
Mm.
So, um, I who knows how far he's going to go up in weight. I can't imagine he would go anywhere past like 147. And I don't even know if how good he would look at that weight, to be honest.
Yeah.
He's still young, but out of those three, um, most certainly Devin Haney, I think, is I think he's has the best shot at the 50-0, getting to where Mayweather was out of those guys.
Okay. No, okay, we got an answer out of you. Wasn't sure what direction we were going in, but yeah, I think big statement. I think one thing that's key here is if Devin Haney does move up, and I'm not saying kind of avoiding those guys, but his kind of biggest threats are probably Gervonta Davis and Shakur Stevenson, whether it be at lightweight or light welterweight. So yeah, we'll have to see if that happens. Finally, Thomas, going to ask you again another big question, but do you see it? Do you see it happening? And if the answer is no, is it because Devin Haney you think would lose to someone at light welterweight or even junior middleweight, or is that because simply he won't get to 50 fights? He'll maybe get to kind of 40-0 at the age of 31, 32, and then retire. What would be? Do you think he will do it? And if not, why not?
I think eventually, just given his size and his frame and talent, he will go up to 150 or at least 147. I think 147 will probably be his prime weight. I think just like Mayweather. Well, he was real. It's hard to say because he was really good at all those other weights as well,
Mm.
especially the lower weight classes. But um, Mayweather, he made a lot of his big money, a lot of the biggest fights in his career were at welterweight, and I think that's the way it's going to be for Devin Haney and those other fighters in and around his division right now. So I think he definitely has the goods. So if he can keep it together and especially get past Lomachenko, which is going to be tough, I think he can get to that point for sure.
Yeah. Okay. We'll see what happens. I know a few big questions, Thomas. Maybe we'll kind of revisit the topic in a year or so. But yeah, appreciate your opinions. Yeah, as you said, kind of he has to get past Lomachenko first. He might not be an undefeated fighter in a few days' time. But we'll see. Thomas, as always, thank you very much for your time, and I'll speak to you again soon.
Thank you.